Hello there, and welcome back to the Fish Tank Barn. Over the last couple of months, we've talked about a lot of things, from my trip to Ohio and looking at my summer tubs. Unfortunately, we really haven't talked a lot about what's going on in the building behind me. So today I figured it was time for an update. So I want to talk about a new project I've been working on in the barn, and since it's the summertime, there's quite a few new fry to look at as well. So let's go ahead and jump into the barn and get started. Let's first talk about the new rack that I built in the upstairs part of the barn. The original racks in this space didn't distribute the weight of the tanks how I would have liked. They had straight legs and only pushed on one section of the floor, which I didn't really think was good for the upstairs part of the barn in the long run. I'd done this project in different parts of the barn, and this was pretty much the last rack I had to replace. So I'm definitely much happier with this current rack setup. Unfortunately, my 54-gallon bow front across from this rack started leaking as well, so I decided to move that tank out and replace it with two 15-gallon tanks, which was a perfect fit for a couple of nano live bear species that I keep. Over the past couple of years, I've been working to transform the upstairs portion of the barn, and I'm pretty happy with the progress that I've made and how it's turned out. The first fry I'd like to talk about was a direct result of the rack project. Unfortunately, I only had one adult Xiphophorus ophidium remaining, but thankfully, when I was moving their tank and taking it down, I did find 3 fry. I decided to separate the fry and put them in this 2.5-gallon tank. They've been living in the 2.5-gallon tank for about a month and a half or so, and they've definitely put on some size. In the next few weeks, I'll be looking to move these fish back in with the adult, and hopefully I can start getting some more fry production and hopefully get a good colony going of these fish. This 37-gallon cube that houses my Xenotoca melanosoma also benefited from the rack project as well. I've had these fish for a couple of years now, and they've always been reclusive, hiding in the filters and rockwork. While I was working on the rack project, I was able to relocate fish either to the summer tubs outside or to other open tanks in the fish room. I did need, however, to find a home for a pair of Xiphophorus variatus from Rio Huxa Titla and figured that they would make perfect dither fish for the melanosoma and added them to this tank. This experiment has worked out quite well, and the melanosoma are out quite a bit more and have stopped hiding in the rockwork and filtration in the tank. I'm really happy to be able to see these fish out and about. I want to move over to another 37-gallon cube and talk about my Posilia mexicana, or Atlantic mollies. In April, our club had Eric Bodrock in to speak, and he had some of these fish for sale. I bought a small group of fish from him in hopes of getting some fry. Towards the middle to end of May, I noticed some small fry swimming around in the tank, which was something I'm pretty happy to see. This species of molly are not fry eaters, so I really don't have to worry about leaving the fry with the adults. Definitely happy to see some fry of a new species here in the fish barn. I purchased this colony of Antinobius toweri from Alajui Spring in March of this year from the Greater Detroit Aquarium Society. This colony has grown up quite nicely, having started from juvenile fish. If you're looking at the top of the screen, you'll see quite a few small fry swimming amongst the hornwort. Amongst the fry, I have found something pretty interesting, and I want to switch to a top view and show you. If you notice from this top view, some of the fry are white in color, which is atypical for the Antinobius toweri. I'm curious if this is some sort of genetic difference, or maybe something laid some eggs in the hornwort, and these are fry from a different species. I'll be curious to find out as these fry grow up. It's always interesting when these mysteries pop up in your fish room. I'll go ahead and keep you updated on how these fry turn out. These Cyprochromis leptosoma and Pilway Blue Neon were another fish that I purchased at the Greater Detroit Aquarium Club auction. Unfortunately, due to some aggression, the number of adult fish dwindled down to 3. I did notice a few weeks ago that one of the females was holding, and she just recently released a pretty nice group of fry in the tank. These fry will have plenty of room to grow in this 75-gallon tank. Hopefully this will be the beginning of another great Cyprochromis colony here in the fish tank barn. Earlier in the video, we talked about two 15-gallon tanks that I set up for nano live bearers. I now want to talk about the inhabitants of one of those tanks, the Neoheterandria elegans, or tiger teddy. I purchased this group from Dan's Fish late in 2023 and purchased some additional fish in the beginning of 2024. These are really small fish, only getting to be about 3/4 of an inch long, so they're pretty hard to see on camera. Even though they're quite small, I have noticed that these fish are dropping fry on a pretty regular basis, and I do have the start of a pretty nice colony. One interesting fact about these fish is that they are super phytaceous, meaning that they drop a couple of fry every week instead of a large number every 30 days, like your guppies and platies. When I was researching this fish, it said that you had to have brine shrimp to raise the fry, but so far I've had some decent luck with just feeding them crushed up extreme flakes. I'll monitor the fry to see if that trend continues. I'll have to say, since purchasing these fish in the fall of 2023, that these Xenotoka Dodroi have been some of the best breeding Gudaians that I've ever had in the fish barn. I started these fish out in a 20-gallon hive and quickly realized that they'd be better off breeding out in a 40-gallon breeder. And as you can see, these fish have been quite prolific. I'll have to say that this is the fastest breeding Gudaian colony that I've ever had here in the fish barn. I'm pretty confident that I'll be able to bring some of these fish to our local auction come November. This group of Liberty Mollies is another group of fish that I purchased late last year from Dan's Fish. This colony did settle in quite nicely, but it did take until the fish room warmed up in May for this group to spawn. Some of the fry in this tank have gotten pretty large, so I'm pretty sure that there have been multiple drops of these fish over the past couple of months. One of the things I really enjoy about this fish is their fin coloration. I'm really happy to have some more fry of these fish here in the fish room. Amongst the guppy grass in this tank, you'll find another fish that I purchased from Dan's Fish, the Hawaiian Variatus platies. I'd kept a group of these fish for about a year in a 20-gallon hive and had never had any luck getting these fish to spawn. This spring, I decided that these fish needed a change of scenery, and this colony absolutely exploded in their new 29-gallon tank. I do have some Limia melanogaster in this tank as well, but those fish in the fry are pretty well protected by the guppy grass. Needless to say, I'll probably be bringing some platies along with some guppy grass to our biannual club auction in November. I hope you enjoyed taking a look at what's been going on here in the fish barn over the summer. It was nice to get back into the fish room again and do some filming. At the end of the video here, I'll go ahead and put a link to a playlist where you can learn more about the Gudaian species that we took a look at here in the video. So with that, stay safe, stay fishy, and I'll catch you on the next video.